Hello and welcome to episode 346 of Slamfire Radio. I am one of your hosts, Adriel,
I'm another one, Trevor.
and the other guys are coronavirused up,
I guess.
in isolation, quarantined, no
I'm not sure
internet.
I'm not sure how if they understand how the internet works, because I know it would be a social gathering, but not really. Like, I don't think you can catch a virus through podcasting.
It's less than 5 people. It should be fine.
It should be fine regardless. Yeah.
hmm
I mean, the only virus that you could get while podcasting would be a computer virus, probably. So,
hmm hmm
but yet they all suck.
And yeah, they're out hoarding toilet paper and buying
Sanitizer.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Lysol
I'm
wipes.
I'm at Costco this morning and I see this guy coming down the aisle and his cart is loaded with sanitizer, every wipe known to man, just nothing on there except for wipes and sanitizer. And I light him up. I'm like, do you have any idea how selfish you are? What is wrong with you? Think about the old people, think about the children. Do you have like no heart whatsoever? Where do you get off like buying all of this stuff? And he looks at me and goes, are you done? Can I continue stocking the shelves now? Like, my bad.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, like, I'm picking up stuff from my gas station. I'm all out.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Yeah, there are some legitimate reasons.
Hello, my name was a tag on his shirt, but I just thought he was, I didn't, whatever.
Yeah, you're on edge. It was a go button moment.
It sure was.
Mashed it.
Mashed it. It's like, excuse me, sir, I'd like to get back to work now. Oh, well, what are you going to do?
Yeah. All right. What we did in guns this week is brought to you by the Calgary Shooting Centre, Canada's premier firearms retailer. Right now, they've got the Trigicon Credo on sale. This is designed specifically for 3-gunners, range warriors, and law enforcement. The Trigicon Credo 1-6x24 gives you everything you need in a low-power variable rifle scope. It's lightweight, durable, intuitive reticles. What's an intuitive reticle? Like crosshair?
It's natural. It's intuitive. Doesn't look like a busy Christmas tree.
Yeah. Maybe it's got like a death, like one of those LEDs with like the skull on it, and you put that on whatever you want to kill. Yeah.
That's line the skull over the skull.
Skull bones, crossbones. Yeah.
The Jolly Roger reticle.
That
very
would be intuitive. Yeah.
If you're a pirate, sure, yeah.
The result is rapid target acquisition, an extra wide field of view, and confident aiming in any light. And that's on for $14.99. Trevor, have you done anything in guns recently?
Not much. It's been kind of quiet. I never thought I would get bored being paid to reload. Schools are closed here like everywhere else in the country, I imagine. So I've just been doing a little bit of reloading. But other than that, my Apache Black Nylon 66 arrived since the last show. Definitely the most unique of the color variations of the 66. It's kind of like nickel plated, and you can tell it's nickel plated because just in front of the chamber there where the marking is of the caliber, a little bit of the nickel plating unfortunately has flaked off. So it's definitely not stainless. It's like a plated. The gun's in good condition. It's as advertised, maybe not quite as nice as he thought it was, but it's, I mean, I have no concerns about, misrepresentation in the ad or anything like that. It's got its usual nicks, you know what I mean? This gun was used. It wasn't a safe queen, but whatever. I mean, the guns are old. They're very old. They stopped making them even in the 80s. So even if you got one that's made in the 80s, it's still old. It's original condition. All the right screws and bits are there. Yeah, so it's cool. I don't know when I'll get out to shoot it, but yeah. So the collection is kind of rounded out. I mean, I got one in every color. I'd like to have, as I said before, one from each color from Canada and one from each color from the U.S. But whatever, this will do for now.
Is your local range open right now?
I mean, there's more than one way to define open. It's not plowed, but if you want to venture through the snow and climb over the fence, you're free to use the facility.
It's got that built-in social isolation with the snow.
That's right. Yeah. And it's too bad, too, because there's a couple of things I'd like to sight in, and it's just too much effort right now to get out there and sight it in. So it is what it is. Oh, that's interesting. There's a number stamped on the barrel, and it does not match the number on the receiver.
Huh. That's odd.
I must check the other ones to see if they serialize the barrels and the receivers, and if any of them match. It might be a drawing number too. It's not necessarily a serial number. But anyway, yeah, that's all I've been up to, man. Got a new gun and sold some guns. Trying to put some money aside for. I applied to UNB to go take a master's in counseling, and so selling some stuff. Some of it moved, but now that the firearms center is closed down, you can do
I
your.
heard that, but I also heard that you can still get transfers.
Only through a retailer. Retailers have access to an online system. But if you and I want to transfer a restricted firearm between us, nope. You will not sell a restricted to a private person right now. Almost seems like a form of gun control, but what do I know?
Laziness. Like, you could have in an emergency, you could enable regular people to get access to that page that lets you I punch in my PAL and your PAL and the firearm reg certificate, and it's like, okay, and here's a reference number. You use the reference number, you confirm you are buying that pistol, and do some database stuff, and we're done, right? Like, this is not rocket science on what we're tracking here.
No, and the only question is whether they have to build in a thing where I put in your license number and it immediately goes, no, this license is expired, or no, this license has been revoked. Other than that, there's no reason to not approve a transfer. So it should be all done automatically.
Yeah. Oh, no, you bought 5 because they were a good deal. That's not okay.
Yeah.
We don't like that answer.
Yep.
Yeah. Ridiculous. Okay, interesting. All right, for myself, I've been doomsday prepping. Light doomsday prepping, as in almost nothing. I've been doing a bunch of stuff around the house. Put in like an exhaust vent. Put in a bidet because I got tired of waiting for toilet paper. I was joking around about it last show, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not waiting in line for toilet paper, and I'm not like paying scalper prices on Amazon for this. I'm just gonna put one in. I went to Home Depot, and they're like, guys, like, yeah, we used to have toilet paper here, but now we don't, so we put these bidets here. It's like, sweet, yeah, get one of those. Unless if the water stops, I guess it's back to the hand, but whatever.
I'm lucky, man. Like, I've gone to the store just about every day. Every day I keep saying, okay, today's the day that we hunker down and we do the social isolation thing. We don't go anywhere. We don't do anything. And every day I find an excuse to go back to the store for more food. There's always toilet paper, and there always will be toilet paper, because this is a small town, and nobody's going completely crazy and thinking they need 6 months supply of toilet paper because it's going to run out. It's not going to run out. We make it right here at home in New Brunswick, and it's not affected by any supply chains. I mean, now the province declared a state of emergency today, or enacted its own version of emergency measures. Don't really know what that looks like. I know all provincial-based construction is stopped. All schools are closed. All non-essential government is closed. But I think Cannabis MB and the liquor store is staying open, of course, because that would cause some problems.
Well, I mean, cannabis, you could go buy like $20 worth, and you're set for the apocalypse. That's like a month's supply.
Is really
last long?
I'm not up. Yeah, I really don't know, but I feel like that's not really a lot of cannabis.
Well, I don't know. How much do you smoke?
I don't, but I'm sure, like, if I did $20 worth, I feel like would be a good afternoon.
Oh, nope.
What?
You cannot smoke $20 worth of pot in an afternoon. Not you.
Challenge
That's
accepted.
like a week for you. Okay. Well, you're gonna have some time on your hands, and if you have problems sleeping, actually, it won't help with paranoia though. It might make that a little bit worse. So maybe
Yeah, but
now's not the right time.
I'd be too high to give a crap. Wouldn't do anything.
Good point. Good point.
All
Or
right.
just get edibles, and then you'll just sit on the couch and watch TV the whole time. That'd be sweet too.
Might take the edge off. That's not a bad idea.
Mhm.
I'm going to use this apocalypse to develop a marijuana habit. Thanks, Adriel.
It's cheaper than a beer habit. Or
It
a
is.
Lagavulin habit. Ooh, way
Ooh.
cheaper than that. Way cheaper.
Yeah. Can't be as good, though. There's no way.
Yeah. Let's see. I also have been selling a bunch of guns. I sold my Savage Axis 2, Savage A22, and Savage 64 Takedown, which were all like those were all review guns, right? So I'm not like divesting myself of firearms by any means. I just cycle a lot. I still need to sell my Mossberg Plinkster and that Norinco JW20, but that'll happen when it happens. I think I might get the Savage B22. That's their new bolt action that uses that rotary mag. So I might get one of those because I haven't reviewed one of those yet. And I was just like as I was like taking down that A22 and looking at the different components on it, kind of impressed. It's a cheap rifle, but they cheaped out on the right stuff and they put the time in on the right stuff. And I think the design was good too. So yeah,
I do have. I mean, I was going to put some restricteds for sale, but I do have like 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 non-restricteds that might move. I'm selling an 870 Wingmaster
just
police clone.
list the stuff that you're looking to sell, just in case any listeners know anyone that's looking for any of that stuff.
All right. Savage A17 with a Crossfire 2 4-12 scope on it, 2 10-round mags, 125 round mag. A Cincinnati 870 clone. It's 14-inch barrel. It's got sights on it. It's got a side saddle. It's got a front pump that has a rail for a flashlight. It's threaded from Mossberg chokes. It's been Cerakoted by S&J. They did a good job on it. It has a Magpul stock on it. And I also have a 870 Wingmaster police clone. And my I don't know. I might sell it. I might not. My Matador Arms SKS. I don't think I'm going to. It's kind of a gift from Matador Arms. It doesn't get used, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but those 2 shotguns in that A17 can go. I bought a CZ 455 in 17 HMR with a Magpul or a Boyd stock. So
that's fancy.
Yeah, my A17 is fancy too. It has a Boyd stock and it has a semi-heavy profile barrel. It's actually blued. It's not satin blue. It's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
The more I talk about it, the less I want to sell it. All right, let's move on.
Let me pull that back up. Let's see here. My Matrix Aerospace build kit should be here soon. So I think I'm going to build that this weekend. I think if I get that built, I might go to the range this weekend as well. Just maintain my distance with everyone and, pound some targets with it. I'm going to put that fancy trigger I've got. I've got like a Kelvin Elite for that. Yeah, nice trigger. Nice trigger. So I think it's like 2 pounds or pound and a half or something like that. I got 1 mag for it. I think I might order some more mags. So I've only got the 1 10-round mag for it, so maybe I'll get some other ones. I've got one of those pistol mags for it that'll fit. So I need some more 1022 mags as well, so maybe I'll pick up some 1022 mags and that mag from Northern Republic because I think they've got some. I got some trigger locks in from Amazon. I got a 5-pack of these Rand something. They're the compact style. They've got the combo lock and they've got the button on the side there. So they're very compact. They fit better in a pistol case and they were cheap. They were 5-pack was $35. So
wow.
Yeah, I got 5 of these things. I ran into sometimes when I head to the range, I've got 4 or 5 combo trigger locks, but sometimes I leave one in a case or one might be used somewhere else, and I just wanted to have more on hand, and now I've got 10. And the nice thing about combo locks, you never forget the key at home.
That's right. You cannot have enough combo locks.
Yep. And then some of our 3-gun matches and Maple Seed events have been canceled recently here. In Alberta here, same thing as you guys out there. State of emergency, no non-essential gatherings that are 50 people or more, but they are likely to throttle that down even more just because Alberta's getting hit decently hard. Not as bad as BC on a per capita, but we're gaining 20-30% more cases every day. So
Well,
can't.
we're
Yeah.
supposed to have a IPSC level 1 RO course in April.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give it to the week before, see if the world goes back to normal.
Yeah.
And if not, then I'm not pulling the plug on it yet, though.
Yeah, I think you gotta look at what things are looking at. I mean, like the 3-gun match was going to be this weekend. That Maple Seed's going to be in a week or so, and it's just the cases are growing too fast. I mean, most of the cases that they're finding here in Alberta, a lot of them are a bunch of people that went to some dentist conference on March 5th, so like 2 weeks ago. They're just finding them here now. So it's like, how many other people are infected and they just don't know, and they're out doing their thing and going to the grocery store looking for food and infecting everyone else there. So yeah, it's yeah. Yeah, so we'll have to cancel some events, and then the other ones we'll just wait and see what happens. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, that was I think that's the shortest what we did in guns has ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Upcoming events: TACCOM Canada 2020 will be September 11th to 13th. That's the Canadian Pro Gun Podcasters Network will be in attendance. So head on down and find your local podcasters there. I think in September will be fine. I think that's a safe date. Get your early bird tickets now; they're on sale. We've got a link that we'll put into the show notes for the tickets, and they're valid for just a little bit longer. You can get 15% off if you use early bird 15 off. Did you want to talk about the 10th annual Podcast Network charity shoot? Or you want to do that in the main topic?
Nope.
Now, all right.
Let's the charity shoot. Let's say, for example, the event doesn't happen. If you want your money back, you can have your money back. But I would still like to have people register now, collect those donations, and we can always roll the donations into the Rod Harkwell Memorial Fund, regardless of whether or not the event takes place. We can still donate money. You know what I'm saying? So don't let the potential for cancellation prevent you from registering, because remember, it's about charity. It's only $25. So please register anyway. If the event takes place, great. If the event doesn't take place and you want a refund because you paid with your credit card online, there is a avenue there to refund your credit card in one click of a button. So register with confidence. If you want your money back, absolutely. Or you could just leave it there as a donation to this year's charity, regardless of whether or not the event takes place. So that's kind of where we're going with the cancellation policy. If you want your money back, no problem. If you want to leave it and donate it to the charity, also no problem. So the event is planned for the 4th of July at the Rescue Gun Club in Balmoral, New Brunswick. Payment is through Practice Core. So you go to the Practice Core website and search the 10th Annual Podcast Charity Shoot, or search events in Balmoral, or search the Rescue Gun Club any way, or click on the link. Is a Facebook page about this event, so you can find it on Facebook. Or as Adriel likes to say, you can Google it, Susan. The cost is $25. Pre-registration through Practice Score is mandatory. There are no walk-ons. If you want to donate but don't want to shoot the Steel Challenge, just register and select the option I'm not shooting. That's an option during registration. There will be, for those who attend, a mini Steel Challenge match. So this will be using the USPSA Steel Challenge stages and rules. You can shoot a 22 pistol, a 22 rifle, a PCC, or handgun. After that, we're going to have a half round of trap. And then there's going to be one self-serve pistol base set up where you can plink on steel to your heart's content. For trap, bring your own ammo, number 7.5 or 8, or you can buy a box from the club. This is an extra cost above the registration fee, so please remember to bring cash. Also, lunch will be provided on site by Smoke in the Water, and bring cash for that too. As mentioned earlier, this year's charity of choice is the Rod Harkwell Memorial Fund. This fund is intended for the benefit of sick or injured children in the Restigouche region. This includes expenses incurred by families of sick or injured children for medical treatment, testing, equipment, or related travel expenses so that they may receive the best treatment possible. You can go to rodharkwellmemorial.com for more information about Rod Harkwell and the charity.
Awesome. Next up, we have a save the date. This is for the EOSC CCFR Ladies Range Day on Saturday, July 25th. This time we've partnered with Vortex Canada to turn Fun Range Day into a successful fundraiser to support women's health. All proceeds will go towards Breast Cancer Action Ottawa, which is kind of neat. And I can pull off that event. Let's see here. Let's head on into the news. So the first one, Canada Post will be dropping off your panic purchase handguns and ARs just outside your door. And even if it says signature required, they may not be getting that signature. I'll read this and then we can kind of comment on it. To help minimize points of close contact with our communities, we will no longer be requesting signatures for any deliveries to the door. This will eliminate the need for scanners and stylus pens to be passed back and forth during the delivery process of these items. Instead, where possible, our delivery agents will apply our safe drop process. This means they will leave these items in your mailbox or outside your door if it's safe to do so. When it's not possible to safe drop, our delivery agent will leave a notice card indicating the post office where you can pick up your items by showing proof of identity. Nothing can go wrong with this policy.
No, not a thing.
I mean, the funny thing. Okay, so listeners, if you haven't been to a gun store recently, there are a lot of people panic buying right now. A lot of people buying a lot of guns and ammo. And while there's a lot of people doing that in person, there are a lot of people doing that online as well. So there's going to be a lot of panic purchase handguns and ARs and non-restricteds in the mail that are going to be dropped off to people's houses and maybe left in the screen doors between their house and, or in their barbecue or wherever the postman decides to put it.
I was tracking a package from TNA and was surprised to see that the tracking number said it had been delivered. Well, that's weird. How could it? Nobody knocked on the door. What's going on? And so I go upstairs and I open up my door, and sure enough, in between my door and my screen door is my package from TNA. And I had no idea about this new policy. So I was like, that's weird. I thought I would have had to sign for this.
Would have been nice if they rang your doorbell or something.
Nothing. No knocking. Nothing. They just put it between the doors and left.
We left an AR for you.
Yeah, no, thankfully it wasn't a firearm, but it was still a package from TNA, so you can figure out yourself what was in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very interesting. So be vigilant with your delivery notifications. Watch them, and when you see that little delivery notification, maybe hop to it to your front door and check out if your gun's sitting there. Into new gun stuff. Right now, everything's selling crazy fast. Ammo is going to be getting more expensive. What kind of stories have you heard about some of the panic buying? I've been watching loosely, and I've been seeing people saying 7 times more sales of guns and ammunition.
Without naming names, I've heard ridiculous numbers of ammo sales in the tens of thousands of rounds sold per day. Mm-hmm. I also know that distributors are contacting dealers and saying our prices are going to be going up. So I don't know if that's a gouging thing or if that's a supply chain thing.
Well, it could be. There could be 2 reasons for that. It could be supply chain. It could be the Canadian dollar is just taking a crap right now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's another good reason. Some large retailers are literally making $100,000 a day in sales a day. Like they're not going to have stock for long. Like pretty soon they're going to look like the toilet paper aisle at your local grocery store. So
The Americans are
yeah,
definitely doing that, but they define gun panic buying a lot more
yeah,
than
they
we
sure
do.
do. Yep.
And I think a lot of
My concern,
yep.
my concern is ammunition, because the trade routes between the supply chain from China is shut down. It's like Ian said either on our show or on the Prepper podcast show. Lead smelters aren't a thing in North America anymore. There's a couple in Canada. There was one in my region. It's closed down. So, with no lead smelters in North America to produce lead for the ammo manufacturers and no lead coming from China, it's only a matter of time before ammunition dries up.
Yeah, yeah, there might be some issues there. I actually heard um, on AR-15s, just because of how many have been sold in the U.S., that we're going to have a 9 to 12 month lag time in getting more AR-15s in the country. Just because of how many have been sold in the U.S.,
Yep.
they need that time to restock themselves, and they always, they serve their local market before they serve Canada, right?
Oh, you have to consider that some U.S. states purchase more from a manufacturer than our entire country. So we are incredibly low on the pecking order in the food chain.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't even bothered heading into any gun stores recently. I've ordered a couple of things online, and I'll continue to do so. But I ain't going in store for waiting in line and watching a bunch of people with no license being like, "What do you mean I can't just buy a gun here?"
Isn't
And
it amazing? And there's a lot of liberals and a lot of left-leaning people all of a sudden want guns and are flabbergasted about all the gun control. You bunch of hypocrites.
yeah,
You wanted gun control, and now that you want a gun, you've got gun control, and you don't like it.
yeah.
Ha!
Oh, you want to buy a pistol? Okay, well, apply. Do the course if you can get in. You probably can't get into a course
Won't
right
be a
now.
course.
There won't be a
Yeah.
course. Do the course, and then send your paperwork in. They're not going to look at it because they're shut down too.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, you'll get it after the rush. Yeah, but yeah, I'll just buy my stuff online. I might sell a couple of guns if because I've got some extra that I've reviewed, and I can use this time to make some space. So I might do that, and then I'll just probably refill it with other stuff. Like I said, I'm already looking at new stuff to review and stuff that I haven't reviewed recently, and yeah, I'm probably gonna get some different stuff.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Yeah, the other thing to mention, just while this coronavirus stuff is happening, many gun stores are going to pickup and shipping only. So you have to buy online, and you
Yeah.
show up and you say, "My order number is 345," and they hand you the order, and off you go. There's no walking in store and walking around and
Nope.
trying all the guns and this one feels good in the hands. None of that anymore.
Question.
Mhm.
Before I forget, did you ship the shadow holster?
No, I will.
Pedro. I'm
Uh-huh.
holsterless.
This is why you need a Safariland GLS, because you'll never be holsterless again. It works with everything.
I don't work with everything, and I don't play well with others. I understand you had a busy
So
week.
that Shadow 2 doesn't fit in anything that your Redback fits into?
Correct. It fits in. No, incorrect. It fits in my redback holster.
Huh?
Yes,
So it works with your other holster.
it works in my redback holster.
Uh-huh.
Not perfectly, but
But you want
you know,
perfect fit.
of course.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll get that in the mail. I gotta put a gun in the mail too here, so
Okay.
I'll put them both. And then I got one new gun thing I wanted to share, just because it's real weird, and I didn't even know these things were coming in. Marstar brought in some Troy side charging rifles. These are non-restricted. They ordered them a while back. It looks like they just received them. They're fixed stocks because they're a 16-inch barrel, and in order to be legally non-restricted, they had to pin the stock open because they were too short otherwise.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a straight pull AR.
This is a straight pull AR, spring loaded, so you pull back and let go, and the charging handle can be on the left or right.
So you fire,
Mhm.
and then you manually pull the bolt open, and then you let it go, and a
Yep.
spring chamber is the next round.
Uh huh. Yeah.
You best not be short stroking. You got to make sure you pull that sucker all the way back.
Mm-hmm.
What I think, is it this, or do which country has the AR where you fire, the gas pushes the bolt back, but then it's locked open and you need to push a bolt release button to let it go forward?
That sounds like the UK to me.
Seems like a simple thing to defeat. So I don't know
Yeah,
if the
but
UK would be into that. What if you just held the button down?
yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, Troy did put some of the advantages into this thing with a side charger. So there's no buffer tube. You don't need it because the bolt is, or the BCG is proprietary, so it connects straight up to that charging handle. It's very lightweight. It's 5.9 pounds. That's pretty light for an AR.
Mm-hmm.
It's 16-inch barrel. So this is not interesting when we have all of our NR ARs that we have today.
Yeah.
But if semi-autos get banned, this will all of a sudden become a lot more interesting. And that's basically it for new gun stuff. Why don't we head into our main topic?
Holy, already?
Yeah, yeah.
Normally by this time in the show, I'm just finishing up what I did this week in guns.
Yeah, well, maybe there were actually there were some questions in Facebook. One second, one guy had a good question. He said, "Hey, with the CFP shutdown, what if I need an ATT? What if I gotta like move my stuff?"
Right. So there's a Canadian Firearms Center.
Hmm.
The Canadian Firearms Program is the name for the education component. The Canadian Firearms Center is Ottawa and Miramichi. Okay, and that's who you call to initiate transfers. Your CFO, they do the ATTs. They do the handling of the restricted firearms courses in your province. There's two different things going on here. Two different numbers to call.
Hmm.
Two different services offered. Your CFO gives you your license. The final approval of it. Like, it's just some redundancy in these two, but anyway, when you call the 1-800 number 731-4000, if you ask them a CFO question, sometimes they will transfer you to your CFO.
Hmm.
Um, so ATTs, your provincial CFO. Transfers, the CFC, Canadian Firearms Center. Two different things,
So
two
you'll
different
probably be
places.
good as long as your local CFO is open. You can get your ATT.
Yeah, and they're not. So don't bother calling. If you need an ATT, email your provincial CFO's office.
If you've got some like post-it notes, you could write it on there too. Just be like, I do what I want.
I'm Ron Swanson, and I do what I want.
Yeah, it's a good question. Let's see here. Mr. Mead is asking about a 308 revolver. I haven't heard of that. Will Canadians be able to get the new Ruger PCC 9 charger? I haven't heard of that one either. Looks like the PC 9, but it's a pistol version.
Yeah.
Restricted. I don't know. I'd rather shoot a pistol, but maybe we'll get it. And I think that's it. Yeah, let's head into the main topic. We got the time.
All right.
The one thing, this is something that I kind of wanted to bring up because on Reddit and that kind of thing, I see a lot of people asking, "Hey, what should I get for a first pistol?" And they don't want a 22; they want something centerfire. And it seems like they want weird stuff. So I thought I'm glad you're on because I wanted to discuss with you some of those different handguns. Which ones would be good choices? Which ones wouldn't be good choices? Because there has been a lot of changes recently to the market. So I think it's fair to look at all of them, really. So, what's your blanket answer? Someone says, "Hey, what's a good first handgun?" What's a blanket answer for you?
Oh, geez, Adriel, I don't know if I have a blanket answer. I usually start by asking them questions like, "What are you doing with this gun? Are you going to play? You going to shoot some competition, or do you just want to go to range and plink? Like, what's your budget? I mean, let's assume that.
Why don't we do budget ranges? Because
Okay,
within budget ranges, there's going to be okay, if you're shooting IPSC, I recommend this. If you're shooting just at the range for fun, I recommend that. And if you want something more tactical, I recommend this, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind recommending a Glock right out the gate because Glocks now are more adjustable than they used to be. The triggers are better than they used to be, and they're just dead simple. They're simple to shoot. You just load it and shoot it. There's no safeties. There's no decockers. They're of course reliable. There's aftermarket parts forever. The factory parts are readily available and inexpensive.
If you buy a
Magazines
used
are,
one, if you buy a
yeah,
used Glock, your depreciation once you go to sell that Glock is probably going to be $20, maybe. How much you going to lose? You buy a used Glock and you sell that used Glock, you're probably not going to lose any money as long as you got a good deal on it in the first place.
yep, that's right. Another good option is the M&P range kit. M&P is also very popular. There's also a lot of aftermarket parts. It is also pretty universal as far as fit goes. The range kit comes with a bunch of mags and a holster and mag pouch, and it's really inexpensive. There's a lot of value there for what you get. There are cheaper guns like the Gersan,
Mm-hmm.
but what are parts going to be like? What's the availability going to be like for parts? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
The
There's lots of
Glock and the
cheaper options,
M&P
but
are pretty solid choices. And the
mhm,
M&P, the nice thing about the M&P is that it does something different than the Glock. It's $100 or $200 cheaper,
yeah,
and that
yeah,
matters.
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Um, an M&P 22. If you like a 1911, you can go buy a Norinco 1911, and you can just keep upgrading it, keep upgrading, keep upgrading. As you know what I mean? They're like, yeah, look at that.
Like this.
Plus, that gun right out of the box has a full length guide rod, has ambidextrous safety, has an extended beaver tail, has a skeletonized hammer, a skeletonized trigger. The only downside to that gun out the box is the sights,
Mm-hmm.
and even that, if you want to, you can replace and take care of. You can cut new dovetails and put on Dawson sights. It's not the end of the world. You're going to pay, but it's still cheaper than buying a $2,000 1911. And you do the sights last. Like the only thing we haven't done yet on my godson's NP22 is the sights. Um,
MP29.
yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
MP29. The MP22 is the SIG clone.
Yeah.
So, yep. Um, yeah, that's for a first gun. I want something that is easy to use, affordable, reliable, and has both OEM market support and aftermarket support. Those are kind of the criteria, and the Glock fits that. The M&P fits that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the CZs fit it too.
I think if you were in the $700-800 price range, a used Shadow One, that would be the place to be, because
Oh
you can
yeah.
go on CGN. A bunch of guys are moving to Shadow Twos, and they
Yep.
take their worthless Shadow One with
The
belt
Shadow of the
and
Poors.
and the 5 magazines, holster, like the whole shebang, and they sell it for $700-800.
Oh yeah, man. Larry sold me his Shadow One with 7 mags for a ridiculous price.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous. And they're out there, and there's still absolutely nothing wrong with the Shadow One.
And the price is fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the parts availability, both factory and aftermarket, they're there. You can find them in Canada. You can get parts from SIBO Weapons from Czech Republic or
Mm-hmm.
Czechoslovakia or wherever,
Yeah.
shipped over here. Like I've ordered twice overseas for Shadow 2 parts, and they arrive. They cost the same as if I bought in Canada, and they arrive as fast as if I had bought in Canada.
Mm-hmm. Now, one place we might want to vary, because these are all like production pistols for IPSC. If you're not shooting IPSC and you want a fantastic shooting handgun, you might get something 1911 based. Is there like because
Even
the nice thing
yeah,
about 1911 is that the trigger will be better, right?
yeah, exactly. And I mean, even if you're shooting IPSC, you can still start with a 1911. There's
Yep.
if you like the look of a 1911, you like the feel, it fits your hand. You know,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
may need a little bit of work out the box that other guns like the M&P and the Glock won't need. Like if you're buying a $300 1911 clone from China, don't expect the reliability of an M&P or a Glock. Just don't. But if you have access to someone who is accustomed to working on their own 1911s, great, go see that person or take it to a gunsmith. It almost certainly is going to need to have some extractor pressure added to it. See that,
Yeah.
Andy? I didn't say tension. You're welcome.
Pressure.
The captain hates the misuse of the word tension.
Mhm.
If you misuse the word tension, a little vein starts to throb in his head. I think he's got hypertension actually, but
That's probably what it is. What would you
probably.
recommend for a revolver at the different price points? I have
I
no
wouldn't.
interest in
Revolvers
this.
are dumb. Don't get one.
I agree. Just wasting your
No,
time, really.
I mean if you want a revolver, and I do have revolvers, and I've had revolvers. You got two choices really. Go get yourself a 686 from Smith & Wesson or GP 100. Those are as common as seagulls in Atlantic Canada. Their revolvers are expensive, man. But the
Well,
GP,
I had one of those GP 100s. I think it
it's
was
not.
500, something like that. I want to
Yeah,
say.
between 5 and 650, you'll pick up that Ruger GP 100. It's a tank. The Smith & Wessons tend to be a bit more, even on the aftermarket, even on the secondhand used
Yeah.
market. They're still between 8 and 1,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And
Cool.
again,
Yeah.
the Smith & Wesson is very upgradable because of a guy named Jerry Mitchellek. You may have heard of him.
He knows how to run that revolver pretty fast. Yeah. Yeah.
Not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad.
Mm-hmm.
12 rounds, 2.99 seconds.
Yeah. Now, we've been saying like Glock and M&P and Shadow and that kind of thing. I think if you've got $1,200, $1,400, I think the Shadow 2 is a better way to go than a Glock and like adding all the parts to the Glock. Just because the Shadow
100%.
2 has got more weight in places where you need weight, and the Glock doesn't. And adding the weight costs a lot of money, and
A lot
you
of money.
still never get out to the weight of that guy. And every time you do something to try to get it to be similar to the Shadow, with like changing out the trigger and that kind of thing, you're
Giving up reliability.
you're
Yep.
potentially messing with the reliability. Whereas on the other gun, it's made for that, right?
Yep.
But I do like the one thing I like about the Glocks is that the lightness is there. Like still even with all the like heavy stuff I've added to this thing, like the magwell and tungsten guide rod and all that kind of stuff, it's still very light. Just not as I don't want to call it a cheater gun as the Shadow, but not as easy, not as forgiving, I guess. The Shadow 2 is very forgiving because that single stage trigger on it's so light. The gun's so heavy, so even if you like slap the heck out of the trigger, you're not going to move this 3-pound gun.
Right. You take an F-150, you turn it into a Raptor, it's still a truck.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if you take that truck to a NASCAR race, and that's what you done with your Glock, there's nothing left you can do to that Glock. It's got upgraded sights. It's got an upgraded trigger. It has the last good magwell that you could buy for that gun. They don't make it anymore. It's got a solid brass plug up the back strap.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a solid brass magwell. You got a tungsten guide rod. There's nothing else you can do to that Glock. But it's still not as good as that Shadow 2.
Yeah, not even close, I would say. And the Shadow 2, well, I mean, I upgraded the parts on this thing too, though.
As did I.
But out of the box, it's pretty good. Out of the box, like, there's not really anything that I think that the disconnect, like you had mentioned there, that disconnect makes a big difference because it's so short when you put that different disconnector in there.
Did you put that in?
Yep.
Did you add that? You did.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you get yours?
A Zone out of Alberta here.
Okay. And it's the 2 millimeter.
I don't know. This is
There's
the
there's
pre-B or the short disconnector. I don't
okay.
know.
And where I got mine, there was one even shorter than this one, but it said it would require some fitting, and I was like,
Mm.
I'm very comfortable with CZ. I ain't that comfortable. I'm not going to start filing on CZ parts. So
And yeah, like we were talking about reliability, you start messing with that kind of stuff where it's like, it's so close, and then a grain of sand falls in your trigger group somewhere, and all of a sudden, doesn't work anymore.
yep, exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that where would you go if you had to? Okay, so we're saying like $1,200, get one of these because they're fantastic for sport shooting and that kind of thing. Even for like just going to the range, these are really good. Uh, if like in Canada we can't concealed carry, so that's not a consideration. But what would you get for like a combat pistol, or like what would you get for like an emergency use pistol if you needed one?
Um, either a Glock or the CZ P10 or P10C.
Hmm.
The FN FNS trigger
Yep.
group on that is a little yeah. I
But the
mean, I
gun's pretty
still
solid.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I love the FN pistols, but the trigger group is its Achilles heel in my opinion. I don't mind the trigger press, but the trigger group has way too many parts.
Yeah.
The CZ is better in every way than the FN, and it's for me has a better trigger than the Glock. It's more comfortable than the Glock. Better factory sights than the Glock. The magazines in America are 19 rounds instead of 17 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
But I still default to the Glock.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time when I had a YouTube channel and I posted a video of me detail stripping, not field stripping, detail stripping 2 Glocks blindfolded. I know the Glock inside and out. Parts count is incredibly low and they're super easy to work on, and it just
High simplicity, high reliability from simplicity and low part
yep,
count. Yeah.
low part counts, simple. I mean, you're talking like a disconnector, a spring, a bar. Like it's just so simple. I mean, the trigger is never going to be amazing because of the way the parts are, but it's the trigger is more than acceptable
Mm-hmm.
for a duty pistol, for a training pistol.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah,
I think in the U.S. they might get into like some other pistols as well, especially like if you had to carry one, you'd probably get into like your slim single stacks and that kind of thing.
yeah,
But
yeah. Of
that's not
course,
a
like the
that's not a
48's amazing.
Glock 48. The
Yeah.
MMP Shield is really well liked. The MMP's got a new one that has reduced pressure on racking the slide. I can't remember what it's called, but it's got like a really light to rack slide that they made for youth and ladies to carry.
Interesting.
Yeah, but that's like not a consideration for Canadians because there's not a thing here. So you might as well go for like a full size something that gives up nothing and is like great for shooting. So like a Glock 17 over a Glock 19.
Glock 19. I've had 2 19s and I got rid of them both and I regret it all the time. And I keep saying I'm going to get another one and then I always buy something else instead.
Mm-hmm. Well, you probably wouldn't use it a lot. Like the Glock 17 is nice, comfortable, or like you were mentioning the CZ P10F. I like that full size grip on that thing. It would probably be terrible to carry. You probably stick out from your shirt. You have to wear like some fishing vest over top just to hide it. But
the F is for open carry for a police officer or something. The C would be a different story altogether.
Yeah, but so comfortable. And like you mentioned, you can get those things for $500 used, and that is a fantastic deal in a pistol.
It's
I
a
wish
CZ.
we had all this stuff like 6 or 7 years ago, because I was talking to some guys about when I first got my AR and built it out. I built out an AR just after Sandy Hook, so like shortly after Sandy Hook. So there was nothing on the market. I paid $100 for a blemish lower. I had the choice of two uppers. That was all that was available in the country. Two uppers. So I got the cheaper one because I think the other one was like a Noveski or some stupid thing. And you look at that, and you look at today what we have available, so good. And pistols, same thing. We've got so many good options and so many good prices on pistols too. You remember what Glocks used to cost?
Yeah, they were they
Ridiculous.
were they were cheap, and then all of a sudden we got the Walther and the HK came on the market, and Glock went, "Hey, we better jack our price up to 850, or people won't think we're a premium product." And all of a sudden, the Glock 17 went from $650 new to $850 new because the Walther was $900. The H&K SPF or SFP whatever 9
hmm
was $900.
Yep. Yeah. What do you think
Also a really
of?
nice gun. That H&K is a nice gun.
Yeah. So there's some that we haven't mentioned. What about like? Why haven't we mentioned any other ones? Don't we need
Cost
to?
for a first gun. I
hmm
mean, uh, plus the H&K, the Walther, the Steyr, they're a lot more complicated. I mean, if all you're ever going to do is field strip, they all field strip the same way, so that's
hmm
fine. But I like to maintain my own firearms and completely detail strip my own firearms. And there's nothing simpler than the Glock.
There's something to be said about the mags being everywhere.
Yep.
If your buddies shoot,
And
they probably have mags.
not being $90 a mag. The Walther mags,
HK.
right? The Walther mags, the FN mags, they're expensive. Then the HK mags are $90 a piece.
Oh,
Like,
Wolverine was
come
selling
on,
those
man.
509s and they had mags for $25.
Wow.
But that was the
The
509 mags.
509,
Yeah.
was it Wolverine that dropped the price on the 509 to
Yeah.
basically cost? I don't know how they were making any money on it.
Yeah.
It's
But
not catching on. I mean,
there's too
I'll
many.
take.
There's too many that do the same thing. You know what needs to happen? We need an AR-15 of polymer striker fired pistols. I think it's the Glock. I would rather see Ruger and Walther and CZ making Glock-alikes and building on that platform because
Well, they all have
we've
their own version of it, but
but their own version is incompatible. Like look what we've got with the 1911. I want to change
mm,
a barrel out. I want to change a slide out. I want to change the sights out. I want to change a trigger out. Like yeah, we've got like dozens and dozens and dozens of different options for all of those. I
yeah.
think that's what they should be doing instead of each making their own same thing but different. Like
Well, that's how you don't get sued. The patents are all expired on the 1911, and there's no mil spec for the 1911. So
where are we
a
at
lot
with
of
the
the
patents for the
1911.
Glock 17? It's getting pretty old. Is it
Well,
there
I
yet?
think
There's other people
I
making Glock frames.
yeah, I thought it recently expired. So what you're saying might start to happen.
Mm, I would love for it to happen because I think that's what needs to happen for 1022. It's a platform now. It's not a rifle. AR-15 platform, not a rifle. 1911 platform, not a rifle. I'd love for that to happen with Glock because that would make the entire market more competitive and offer more of what people needed
It
rather
may
than
be there now.
another polymer striker fired pistol. It's when
Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf has a Glock frame. You can build an entire Lone Wolf pistol. That's a
mm-hmm.
Glock, but it's not a Glock. Zev, same thing
Yep.
now. So I guess we are there if you think about it.
Yep.
You can do an 80% polymer Glock build. You can do a Zev Glock build, a Lone Wolf Glock build, and for a while there was a Glock steel frame on the market.
Yeah. I would just love for more big manufacturers to be doing that. So a
Yeah.
lot of these guys are smaller or just don't have like that big manufacturing capability behind them. I think that would make it more competitive.
Mm.
Yeah. What about a Beretta? Beretta 92.
I mean, it's definitely a proven platform, but it's an old design now,
Mm-hmm.
and high parts count. Not the easiest thing to shoot. It's got a heavy double action trigger out the box. It's not the most ergonomic. I know they've come out with new versions all the time to make it more ergonomic, and good on them for trying to stay relevant. But
Yeah,
That
I had some people asking me about the 92X competition recently, and I don't really see the point beyond CZ Shadow 2 to get the Beretta 92X competition, because I think the 92X is another $600 on top of it. So
yeah,
it's more
the
expensive. It's not as proven as a competition pistol.
I mean JJ is shooting for Beretta, so they come out with some new Beretta guns.
Hmm.
And JJ is still no Ben Steger or he's no Eric Raffel. Like he was on Top Shot. Good for you, JJ. And not take away from the guy, but I mean he's not going to have the impact on the practical shooting world that Eric Raffel has had
Hmm.
with his time on Tanfoglio. And now Eric is shooting for CZ. So are we going to see a whole line of Eric Raffel extreme parts for the CZ like we saw with Tanfoglio?
Yeah,
When you've
maybe.
got CZ and you've got Tanfoglio, Beretta, I'm sorry, you're just not there. You're not. No one's going to spend more for an old design that you've trimmed the grip on.
Yeah. Well, the CZ75 is like a platform, I think. When you look at the number of parts and what you can get, like a Tanfo is not a CZ product, but
No, but
it's
it's a CZ.
yeah,
It's a clone,
yeah.
right?
The
The
red back.
Tanfoglio, yeah, Tanfoglio is a CZ clone. The Sphinx was a CZ clone. The Redback's a CZ clone. Um, yeah,
What about Sig guns?
I don't like SIG guns much at all because of the ergonomics. Have you ever taken apart a P226 or a P229?
Nope.
Frightening. I think I'd be better off with doing cardiovascular surgery, and I pretend to be a gunsmith lackey,
Well, that F and
right?
S trigger pack, like trying to get all its little like pieces in to put it back
Springs
in
and
is
pins. I'll
pretty
still take that
tough.
trigger pack over the SIG 226 or 229. Man, like, and they have just an incredible following. I've seen them choke in matches often, often. Now, the X5 Legion, the 320 line, very innovative
Hmm.
and very good guns, especially the Legion. The Legion has added some weight to the frame and it's cleaned up the ergonomics. It's moved the beaver tail up to get the height over bore down, get your hand up higher, right?
They have a
Um,
single action version of that too, and it's got a very nice trigger. But it's pretty
yeah,
expensive for what you're getting. Like you're putting some good money towards that thing.
yeah. I like how they make the whole grip, the whole frame, small, medium, or large,
Hmm.
and it's affordable.
Hmm.
So,
That's kind of innovative. Yeah,
yeah,
that's worth something.
yeah. I've had two 320s, and there's nothing wrong with the platform. I just don't like the high bore access or how it fit my hand. I didn't like the grip angle,
Hmm.
but
Yeah, the
that's
320
totally
X5
personal.
is a legitimate competitor to the Shadow 2 in production, but it costs a lot more. So I think the
Yeah.
P320 X5 is again right around that $900, something like that. Oh, 13.
Hmm.
Yeah, depending on where you get it, 11, 13. Wow. At GoTenda they've got it for 1100.
Hmm.
But well, if they had any in stock, which it doesn't look like they do. Yeah, $1,100. Oh, that's a good price. Those things have really come down. P320X5 full size, 1100. Not bad. That might get competitive then.
Hmm.
What about like Walther and that kind of thing?
Again, expensive, high parts count, proven, proven on the field of competition. Walther's been around a long, 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 long time. Um,
Hmm.
Good guns. I mean, you know, Cindy bought a Q5 match for her first gun. Why not? But she knew she was, yeah, man. She picked it up. She's like, first gun that I picked up that I like how it fits. It fits me. I'm buying it. Can't argue with that, right? She's got access to me. Marcel's got some experience, so not the end of the world. You know what I mean? Took a while to find a holster for it, if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
But this was her first handgun, knowing she was going into IPSC. I don't know that it should be your first. I mean, if you can afford it, you like it, then buy whatever you want. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Um, I don't know about, again, if a part in my Glock breaks, I can replace it with a YouTube video in 10 days if I don't have the part in stock. But parts are like Filthy, for example. His trigger wasn't resetting on his Glock. He's got a lot of miles on that Glock, but not nearly enough to justify that kind of a malfunction in a Glock, right? A
Mm-hmm.
Glock is supposed to be, oh my god, I got 250,000 rounds in my Glock and I threw it out of a helicopter and off the Statue of Liberty and I buried it in peat moss for 6 months and it's fine. Well, his trigger wasn't returning. And so he, Filthy, pick up a trigger return spring. He bought 5, right?
Two would have been too much.
Yeah, yeah. So, because they're so cheap
Mm-hmm.
and easy to find, so he bought 5. Because there's a bunch of Glocks kicking around. One of his buddies might need one. Okay, well, Filthy, let me take yours and I'll order one, and when it comes in, I'll replace it. You know what I mean? That's brilliant.
Yeah, that's the other nice thing about having guns that are the same as buddies of yours is your gun goes down in a match or something like that. You can ask the match director, grab his gun, put it in your holster, and
Right?
go do your
Me and
stage,
all.
load up
Yep.
your mags, come back, go to the safe table, swap the gun, and you could that's a very easy thing to do at a match. And all you have to do is make sure that one of your buddies runs like something that is common. So like,
Well, let's think about this.
Mm-hmm.
When a team goes into the field, they're all carrying the same primary and secondary, and all the equipment is interchangeable. If you and I are at a match, and I say, Adriel, throw me a rifle mag, I know it's going to fit my rifle because we're all running an AR platform,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
if we're all running Glocks, then same thing. Like
Mhm.
Matthew, Owen, and I, we all have Glocks. We used to shoot together all the time, so it was, holsters were compatible, mags were compatible. We all had spare parts.
Yeah, yeah, same thing. If you had CZ75 guns, if
Yep.
they're all CZ75s, we can start swapping stuff. Someone's gonna have the the slide stop because that's gonna break on one of those guns eventually,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, you'll be good to go. Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know if we've pissed off everyone in the comments, but I think we did a pretty good job of it.
Excellent.
Yeah, yeah. Do we need to crap on any other guns? Any other popular like weird guns out there that we need to rag on just to piss off that last person who's still happy?
I don't know. Let's go through and find some comments to crap on. Tell
Right.
people that they're wrong.
You hit up the comments. I'm gonna hit up just I'm just looking at some pistols right now just to see if there's anything else that we might have missed that needs a swoop and poop on it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Barrett. Yeah, Beretta, Bursa. Nope. Blackhawk. Nope.
Bill, I just took my 226 apart and it's a puzzle, but the 320X5 is a good piece of kit. I agree.
Yeah, I think that some of the newer pistols have been designed better. Just like the designs are more modular, they're easier to take down. I think that that's made a big difference with people, and really what you should recommend to a new user, right? Anything.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Snuffy put the short reset in his 229 and 227. He said it was no big deal. Now, other Trevor, that's what he did. He put the short reset in his SIG, and it was a journey, man.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any other Norinco pistol like beyond the 1911. They like the MP34 is kind of popular as a starter 9mm double stack. It's not good. Like the trigger press on it is really bad, but the price is low. I don't
On
know.
what the 22?
Yeah, the SIG clone. I don't know if I
Yeah.
would get that one over like something like that Gersan 9mm because that Gersan thing
I
is like
would.
a standard striker fired.
Right, but that if you like the SIG guns, just like if you like 1911s, those SIG guns, the 22 is it
Norinco
226 or
copies?
229 clone?
I can't remember.
And it's the NP22, and some of the parts are interchangeable with SIG parts.
Yeah, I've heard that
So
the short reset works on the Norinco,
nice.
but that seems like you're putting like I don't know how much those short reset kits are, but you're putting like a $100 part in a $300 gun that doesn't really deserve it. Maybe just get a
True.
better gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There's not
so
really any
we
super low price guns either. Like we can't really recommend a high point because the high points aren't cheap enough in Canada to even recommend. It's like a no deal because they're just not cheap enough. There's no interesting Kel-Tecs that we can use here because again we got a 10 round mag limit and we've got a barrel length limit. So a lot of the neat stuff we can't use. I don't know if I could recommend a Kimber.
no.
No. No, I think we've done a good enough job crapping on enough pistols. I could
So
not
we
buy
agree.
anything from
Just
Remington. No Remington
no
pistols.
Remingtons.
No
No.
Remington. And if it's like there's going to be a bunch of other weird stuff out there. Stoger's got a pistol. Ruger's got their American. They're just, in my opinion, more of the same. Trying to do
Yeah,
the
the
same thing.
SR9 series.
Mm-hmm.
And then they
Well, the
actually
SR9s are
made that even
really cheap,
cheaper.
though. Really cheap. But they're like the
Mhm.
trigger press on them is so bad.
Oh, Matthew's SR9 was all right, and I had an SR9 that was all right. But then they come out with a cheaper version of the SR9.
SR9 VE, SD9
No,
VE.
that's Smith and Wesson.
Oh, I'm thinking of the wrong one then.
That was a new upgraded Sigma.
Yeah,
That one was awful, but
yeah,
it
the
worked
trigger
and
pull,
it was
and
cheap.
that one was very cheap. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, it's get a Shadow.
Long story short, yeah, get a if you've got $700, get a Shadow 1. If you've got $1,200, get a Shadow 2, and if you've got $600, get an MMP, CZ P10F, or a Glock if you can find one used. Is that about
Yeah,
where we're at?
if you need a polymer pistol, either a Glock, a CZ, or an FN.
There we go. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's see here. Listener feedback on Facebook. I think
Yeah, we
they're
covered
just
it.
cheesing off random people. NP22 is the SIG 226 clone. There we go.
226. There we go.
My first pistol was a SIG 226. Now it's my least favorite gun that I own. Oh,
There you
Canic.
go.
Canic came up as well.
Oh yeah.
I think the Canics should be cheaper. I think the Canics aren't as cheap here as they are in the States, and that's why they're just not as super popular because they're well liked in the States. They're just probably like the price point's probably very very different, right?
Yeah. I'm not afraid of the Canic like I am the Gersan.
Gersan. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Gersan's newer and yeah. I heard from some people that they're saying don't dry fire it or you can break the firing pin.
The Gersan?
Yep. Yeah.
Really?
Yes, indeed.
Hmm.
Never happened to mine. I don't know. All right, that's Facebook. Listener feedback. Listener feedback is sponsored by Armory DC Gunsmith. Armory DC Gunsmith is a full-service gunsmith who specializes in firearms refinishing. He offers hot bluing, parkerizing, and Cerakote finishes, as well as wood refinishing. Check out his online inventory of new and used guns, firearms, accessories, optics, and more at dcgunsmith.ca. Also check him out on Facebook and Instagram. First email here from Dave. I found your podcast a few weeks ago, and I've been catching up by 2 or 3 episodes a day while listening at work. Whoa, that's a lot of slam fire per day.
Wow.
The more I listen, the more I annoy my wife about what I want to get next. I just got my RPAL a few years ago and have one ISSC M22 pistol I got real cheap. And while looking for the next pistol, I came across this and I thought Trevor might want to see it. It was Double Tap selling a Remington Nylon 66.
Really, really nice condition if the pictures are a good reflection of the actual firearm, which, I mean, I know they are. It's Double Tap doesn't misrepresent their stuff. I already got one, but if this one was Canadian made, ooh, Nelly.
The one he sent to us is a Remington Nylon 66 Apache White Diamond, which I think is the
Yeah,
one that you just showed us, right?
yeah, it's the Apache Black. Yeah,
Yeah,
just yeah,
fancy, fancy.
they got the
Uh,
name wrong, but there's no White Diamond and Apache Black. It's the Apache Black has white diamonds and a nickel plated the metal.
Sounds cooler
So
though. White
yeah, it
Diamond.
does, but whatever.
Yeah.
They're
Thanks.
rating it a 9.5 out of 10.
Ooh, must be nice.
Yeah, $610. So probably doesn't have the scratches mine has, but
Hmm.
whatever.
Yeah. Thanks for all the great information and stories. I really enjoy them. Not many I work with to talk about this, so it makes the day go by, and at least I might learn a little, only by accident. Keep up the great show from Dave. Sorry, I thought you were going to say something there.
Well, I am.
Uh-huh.
I'm just trying to find the right place. I'll do it during shoutouts. Something
Uh,
important that our listeners need to keep in mind moving forward during this apocalypse.
hmm. Hmm. Uh, is it seasoning tips for eating humans or
Nope,
something
it's
more important?
social media tips. So we'll get to the shoutouts
Okay.
and I'll explain.
Okay. If you'd like to send an email to the show, send the emails to slamfireradio@gmail.com and we'll read it on the air. Podcast app reviews, we don't have any of those recently, but and I think that's because a lot of the podcast apps don't have ratings in them anymore. But if you'd like to, head on over to your favorite podcast app and give us a rating. It helps people find the show and helps us reach more people. Finally, shoutouts, Trevor.
Okay, so the first one goes to the guys over at TNA, True North Arms. I placed an order with them. Geez, I got it like it was supposed to arrive Friday and it arrived today, and I think I only placed the order on Tuesday.
Whew, nice.
Yeah, it was crazy fast, and there was a free handguard in the box. I should have it up here with me, but in the box was a 7-inch NEA Gen 2 handguard, raw aluminum, needs to be Cerakoted.
Mhm.
But like whatever, man.
You
The
can
other
do
cool,
that. You know
yes,
a guy who can
exactly.
do
Yeah,
Cerakoting.
yep. So that was cool. They threw in a handguard, and I took the stuff out, and I read the notes and enjoy the handguard, and I'm like, enjoy the handguard. I didn't order a handguard, and then I went back to the box, and sure enough, there was a handguard in the box. So
Huh.
TNA is awesome. And something else TNA does is they look up your name and your address, and they send you a letter addressed to your MP, and they give you a postage paid envelope for you to mail your MP.
Making it easy.
Yeah, so there's no excuse, right?
Mhm.
I've already sent it. The bastard never got back to me, so I'll send another one.
Mm.
So, this next shout out is a public service announcement. I have a friend of mine who is at home with pay right now while a threat assessment is being conducted against them because of a post they made on social media. They had been called in by their employer once before to discuss their social media. This is a person who does a lot of posting on Facebook and Instagram with guns. And the employer called them in, had a conversation with them, and they were like, well, I'm not violating any policies, am I? No, but maybe you want to tone it down because of the nature of your work and it may reflect poorly, blah, blah, blah. You know what? I'm a law abiding citizen. You don't have any policies to govern this. Thanks. Have a nice day. Well, now that person got called in again, and someone in their office filed an official complaint, took screenshots, and said they felt threatened and not safe in their own work environment. So this has gone all the way to the provincial HR department for the type of work that they do, and they were sent home with pay pending an investigation into whether or not this person's a threat to the office. So there they are posed on Instagram with an MMP on their hip and an AR-15, and the caption says, "Coronavirus? I thought you said apocalypse." That's it, man. It takes that little to trigger an anti in your work environment. And everybody is super on edge right now. Not everybody. The antis and the leftists are super on edge right now. And this is punishment through process. I went through it myself recently where someone related to my work filed a complaint and it was unfounded, but I still had to go through the process, and the punishment was the process while I waited for it to be dismissed. Well, actually, there was an investigation to determine whether or not there'd be an investigation, and there was no investigation as a result of the
Sounds very
investigation.
government. Very government. My eyes are
Very
gloss
governmental.
glazing over as you're like talking about
Yeah,
all this taxpayer money just getting flushed
I
down the
know, right?
drain.
Well, we have another friend who was hunting. He was on his days off hunting, and somebody at work was bothering him, and he sent a selfie of himself hunting. So there's the context. I'm up a tree in a tree stand wearing camo and orange, the rifle across his lap. So the selfie is essentially the action of the rifle, the camo and the orange, and he replied with that selfie. In other words, fuck up. Sorry, screw off. I'm hunting. And that one went all the way to court. And it cost him money out of pocket for lawyers. Like, I'm just saying, guys, maybe you want to tone it down on the social media rhetoric right now because people are freaked out. And I know you're not wrong, and you know you're not wrong, but people will go after you through the punishment.
And everyone's
Like
excited because of the end of the world apocalypse.
making jokes about that guy from the TV show The Office with his smug look that says the look that gun owners make when they see non-gun owners hoarding toilet paper, right? Like, in other words, you buy toilet paper, I'm going to take it because I'm a gun owner. No, we don't need to be making jokes right now. Swear
What
up, that's
about
not
me
cool.
joking around on this podcast about that?
That is, I,
It's a trick
I'm not
question
making.
because they have to listen to the podcast before they get it.
If you think that the RCMP don't listen to this podcast, that's as naive as thinking they don't watch CGN. Of course they listen.
Man, that's
They
a lot
listen.
of work.
They have people who are paid to just do that, to just monitor us legal gun owners. They're not out monitoring gangbangers because they can't. But we put ourselves out there. We're all over CGN, Thursday Bear Defense thread. We're all over social media. They watch our Instagram. They watch our Twitter accounts. They watch our especially guys like you and I. Like, I don't know about you, but I accept all friend requests mostly because I know it's a listener of the show. I click on their profile. I see a CCFR thing. I see a pro gun thing. I accept them. That could be somebody with a fake account
Oh, you're
from the
telling
RCMP.
the CSIS how to get to you right now.
They already
Give them
know.
tips. Give
They
them
already
tips on
know.
it.
Like Denise said to Joey, if you think you're not already on a list, you're wrong. Like, we're all on list, buddy. So,
Well, to our CSIS officer that's listening to this right now, we're sorry, and hope this hope your quarantine is going well as well, because you probably have to work from home. This seems like a work from home job, right? Listen to
it does.
Slamfire again. Oh man, 2 hour show. Come on, guys. I gotta get to the wife and kids.
Sucks to be you. Yeah, we're paying for them to listen. So anyway, just keep your jokes tasteful. That's all. Don't give anybody an excuse to get triggered and go off on you, especially right now. So, yep. Do just be smart. That's all.
Sweet. Patreon supporters, if you would like to help with the show, go on to patreon.com/slamfire radio. Sign up to help us out with a caliber donation of your choosing, and we'll send you a patch. Another alternative, if you're going to panic buy anyways, go to Cabela's through the link on our website, and we get a tiny cut of that as well. Not a tiny cut, a kickback. You pay the same price, they pay us because we introduced you to Cabela's, and you wouldn't have bought otherwise, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Finally, join a national firearms association such as the CCFR. Check us out on Gun Owners of Canada. Like us on Facebook, and we'll see you next week.